So, is this season 2 of our raised bed and garden vlog? We are sure putting a lot of plant material here on our second raised bed we're going to be working on this year. No leaves yet, no pine needles, no hay, not any like nutrient drenches yet. But we definitely have a lot of stuff. You know, we had that nor'easter come in a few weeks ago, and it did knock quite a few limbs down. And there are some big ones that are too heavy to lift and bring over here. So we're either going to have to wait till they dry out a little bit and rot, or take a chainsaw to them. But this is a good start here. We did, over time slowly add a few little things, and I think yesterday or the day before I put some goldenrods there, but we need to step it up. We got to get this guy ready to plant another avocado tree here. How's our other avocado doing? You've probably seen it on our just normal garden vlog here. That's it there. Not extraordinary, not bad. We haven't had any 31, 32 degree nights. We haven't had any nights or mornings into the 20s or teens. So that's our Lila avocado and this pretty nice little, nicely sized raised bed. So yeah, there are some crossover stuff with the garden vlog because, well, we only have so much content, and we sometimes like to talk about general things in the garden. What isn't season 2 yet is the Wetlands Zone 2 project. It's just too overrun with weeds. Things have gotten better. Time, wind, just weeds dying down. All the Bidens and beggar tick seeds and stuff need to just fall to the ground so we can work the ground a little bit better. But so far the pineapple here is still looking nice and green. Papaya still looking okay. This grafted loquat here likes to kind of fall over time, so we have to kind of pick it up a little bit. Shambhala or something like that is what that cultivar is, from Oliver Moore, and maybe somebody else picked it out too. I'm not sure. A lot of the annual Tithonias are looking a little worse for wear. This guy here looks like it's pretty much dead. The one over there has a few little flowers on it and a little bit of green on it. But we have them, in other areas too that are a little bit more protected. So it's possible that we'll have some that will survive. But again, we haven't had any 20s and teens freezing this year yet. But we have plenty of time for that to happen. You guys, to check out this. Look what time of year it is. And there is an elderberry in flower. It doesn't seem to be affected by the frost. And there's some unripe elderberries right there, and this isn't the only one that has them on it. I think it's probably the same genetic, from a root sucker of the same plant that's over here. So we're in kind of our elderberry zone here, at least one big patch of all kinds of genetically different elderberries, and I don't see any in flower. So the problem with having an ever-bearing elderberry that blooms even in the coldest times is that you need cross-pollination. Somewhere that one got cross-pollinated this year. Last year I suspected that specific one to be ever-bearing, but it never produced berries, even though it produced flower heads. Here are some more elderberries. None of them are in bloom. So now I have to start suspecting that in that area it's not just one genetic plant, a root sucker. Because when I threw seeds out there from our freezer several years back, there was probably 100+ seeds. It's likely that there are multiple genetic seedlings that came up there, but I don't know how possible. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know what the statistics would be on getting like 2 ever-bearing seedlings, you know, in just a little pile of seeds. I don't know. And here is another patch of elderberries. You probably can't see them from the trees very well, but and you know it's wintertime, so everything, a lot of the leaves are stripped. You see, you know, some green here and there. Some of them are just completely bare or barren. They're everywhere here. No flowers. And I also initially suspected that having them in a compost bin might just keep the roots warmer and allow them to go into a flower mode. But I don't know, if that were the case, why isn't our 2015 best here, our selection from 2015, you know, flowering or have berries on them versus being mostly dormant, which is in like a sort of like a modified hugelkultur raised bed system here. There's always going to be plant material here that is breaking down and creating heat. So I don't know. I guess we need to rake some leaves here for our raised bed, right? Kind of hard to do one-handed. I guess I need like a point of view helmet or some kind of thing so I can work two-handed and have the camera going. Well, there is a little pile we got so far. Wonder if it's going to be enough for a 30-gallon or whatever container. If not, we got a lot that we can rake up here. Right, I guess it did fill up that 30-gallon or whatever trash can. Now this is mostly camphor leaves. Might be some sweet gums and stuff as well, but we'll rake in different areas over time, get pine needles, oak, and a variety of other things, possibly maple. And just like we did on our other raised bed, we used probably 30 different types of wood and leaves. Okay, we're back at our raised bed number 2 area here with a pile of leaves. I do not know what's going to happen. I'm going to do this one-handed, but let's just see if we can dump it in here. See why we need to have both of our hands? It still landed in a pretty good spot. We just kind of need to wiggle it into the little crevices and all that. So to recap what this is about is someone found out or did research or experimented with aged wood chips, making a raised bed like year-old, 2-year-old wood chips, and in areas where root rot was damaging and destroying avocado trees. So he experimented with this and he was able to grow avocado trees, Mexican types, which are a little bit more cold tolerant, in areas that weren't really previously known to grow them. Even in areas not that are ideal most of the time, may have that occasional 10-year, 20-year flood, which would promote, I guess, root rot and kill the tree. So I guess the fungi, the mycorrhizal fungi or fungi, supposedly combats the bacteria, or some of the bacteria that cause root rot in plants and trees. Or at least that's the theory. So you make a raised bed, it gets it maybe off the water table a little bit. You give it aged, plant material, fungal spores, whatever you want to call it. There's all kinds of fungus and stuff on all the leaves, leaf mold, aged wood, rotten wood that's just fallen out, to the ground and just spent time there. You'll see all kinds of mushrooms growing and other like fungi roots and stuff. So you're kind of seeding it, especially when you use multiple, things like pine needles, leaves, aged branches or whatever, rotten wood. Add it with fresh leaves, fresh wood, dirt, compost, whatever you want. So we're taking the idea of doing just wood chips and saying, okay, we do not have access to those aged wood chips, or not everybody does. So let's try it this way. So far, our early experiments with raised bed number 1 seem very promising. So let's keep going. I mean, if we wait 2 or 3 or 5 years and experiment with just that one raised bed and we have successes, then we're going to regret not working on more beds. So next year, next season, whatever, let's go. Let's do it. I would also definitely be interested in seeing how this works with things other than avocados. And that's one of the reasons why I put a loquat there, is to see how well that does, because we're kind of the water table area, the flood area here, this wetland sort of, bordering on the swamp. You can be a couple foot above here, maybe near the road where it's highest, and you can grow loquats. You come back here, where, everything's kind of sloped, and, you may be a couple feet below where the main road is. And you plant a loquat here and it lasts 6 months or a year or 2, and then something happens. Root rot, something makes it die. So that's the problem we've had here. We've had a couple grafted loquat types that have both died for no apparent reason. So there has to be something going on when these kinds of trees should be easy to grow. And avocados are more susceptible to root rot than loquats. So if they can do it with avocados, why can't we do it with loquats? Why can't we do it with chestnuts, which struggle in the kind of wetlands areas? I know I've planted a bunch of them, and I have one surviving. So definitely some things to consider, and I hope that in a few years we'll be able to answer other people's questions whether or not this type of gardening will allow people to. What about peaches? Same thing. Peaches love water, but they don't like sitting in water. They get rot and they die. So they're low rooted. They may not be able to handle a big hill like this because they may not get enough water. But what if you can, raise them up 6 inches, 8 inches, whatever, that they can be tolerable to them and get enough moisture, but not to soak or not to have the root rot kill them. So the other question I have is, can I go even further into the swamp? Further where the water table is higher, further into that flood zone and do avocados successfully and not have to worry about hurricanes and monsoons and, you know, nor'easters and stuff coming out and wiping out the trees. Luckily, if we have some successes with this, we'll have plenty of seeds and seedlings to experiment. And then if that works, we can graft, you know, and do that. It would be a game changer. It already is a game changer if everything that these people have experimented with and say they're successful with, and they know the reasons why, if we can expand that into, you know, swampland, wetlands, whatever. So how can we start season 2 of both the raised bed and garden vlog without putting some shovels in the ground, right? We got a beal or bale fig, B-E-A-L-L. We have this guy here is a Dumonley Cara. Not sure what origin, maybe Turkey. And an LSU Gold right here. This guy here is a Bursa Salahi. B-U-R-S-A-S-I-L-A-I-H-I. I messed it up in 2 takes. Bursa Salahi. So got 4 figs instead of 3, and I got a few others that are left. So it's kind of disappointing that I didn't really get some of the scion wood, the graft wood for, you know, a few of the projects I had planned this season for pawpaws and maybe 1 or 2 American persimmons. But we really need to work on getting more American persimmon rootstock, you know, growing it out a little bit. So we'll have something to actually graft onto and have a better chance of success if we have more rootstock to try. We very possibly will still get some sort of, you know, like pawpaw grafting wood, you know, later on in the year. But we may have to pick from what, you know, after everybody else has already picked through the most popular, the most in demand stuff. So, well, that's all right, I guess. We'll see what's available later on this season. This Dumonley Cara fig. So we don't have like ideal spots for everything we plant. Sometimes we go into other areas, sort of shady areas and stuff, and understories. Figs like it like in full sun the best, but we got a little spot here in the goldenrod territory that we're going to plant this in. All right, so here she is. Time to do the Bursa Salahi fig. We're going in the same area, maybe 8 foot, 10 foot away from the other one. Also kind of close to this little seedling citrus that didn't really do much for us. This guy is right there. Maybe put a little bit of pressure around the roots with my shoes there. 2 down, 2 to go. I said earlier that I wasn't going to work on wetlands zone 1 as season 2, you know, starting season 2 on that. Or I might have called it wetlands zone 2 by mistake. I have to go back and look at that. But guess what? We broke out the Yerba mate. That means we're going to put one of these figs at least in there and the Yerba mate. So now it's officially season 2 for the raised bed project, season 2 for the garden vlog, and season 2 for the wetlands project. There's dirt here. We've probably showed this before on the videos. This is the dirt that grew those pumpkins. 1,000 foot of vine or so. Pretty much no supplemental fertilizer. Just compost it down, organic matter, goat pee, goat poop, and hey, that's it. We had them here for a long time, and you got several inches, maybe 8 or 10 inches or more of this good highly fertile soil, full of worms usually, especially when it's warmer. It's a little bit cold now, so hopefully this yerba mate will be happy here. We'll pack it in, order it down when we get our other fig planted. So we got the LSU Gold there, and we got the yerba mate a little bit past there where the black Suriname cherry is here. So the next question is, where are we going to put the Beal or Bale or whatever fig? Okay, there she is, the last one. Also in the wetland zone. I think I put my knee in some fireweed, digging that last one. It's kind of on fire. I seen some the other day when I was walking out here. Wintertime is usually when it seems to be starting to grow and get bigger and stuff like that. Nettles, stinging nettles, heart-shaped nettles is what we have here. So have we seen any of our Jaboticaba seedlings that we threw and are buried in various places come up? I haven't spotted any. Probably won't, but it's always possible that we'll see some, you know, slim chance. Because I've done that, you know, quite a few times. Just threw out hundreds of seeds or buried a few, and just instead of just sprouting them in a seed sprouting mix. Now I did most of them in the Jaboticaba red hybrids and the Sabaras in a seed sprouting mix, and most of them came up. But in the ground, you never know. You might have a surprise one day. 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the road, you say, oh, what is that? That looks like a Jaboticaba. That looks like this or that. And, you know, maybe one day we'll see some fruit, you know, from a mystery plant that wasn't, or that we did not remember planting there. That's the fun part of doing that kind of stuff, not the success rate. Guys, I think that's it for these adventures. That's a good start of season 2. It'd be nice if we had like 500 plants to plant, but hey, we got to start somewhere, right?